on the 2025 Game Awards. Do I think that the awards matter that much? No, I don't. Do I think the guy running it knows what he's doing? Absolutely not. But do I think that in the absurdity and stupidity of it all, that there's at least some method to the madness, or that it's an actual good story or good displaying the talents and skills of various other creatives? Absolutely. Because this year, something unthinkable happened. The big AAA titles from companies like Nintendo or Sony or Microsoft barely made it in. Not because they couldn't. Oh, no, they definitely. They just chose not to. Now, Nintendo, surprising absolutely no one, got its little fair share thanks to some backhanded deals, which eventually got it the resources it needed for its work. But so far, most of it was indie titles or games that just genuinely deserved it. Now, there are some issues where Silksong definitely should have gotten an award. The fact it was nominated is already some good achievement. But we all knew from the start, surprising absolutely no one, that Expedition 33 got the medal. It got the respect and attention it deserved, and I completely appreciate that. Also, can we just talk about the fact we're finally getting a new Mega Man game after so long? We got Mega Man 12 before GTA 6, and I could not be happier. But apart from that, there wasn't really interesting about the Game Awards. Sorry, the sunlight's peering from my window. Anyways, so let's see what you lovely people have to say about your opinion on the 2025 Game Awards. Do you think the Game Awards are a sham? Do you think that Expedition 33 should have gotten the award or not? Hello there, Tam Male 1-X3D. I am from India. Your country. I'm from Florida. Is that supposed to be some sort of joke? Because we're talking about the 2025 Game Awards. You clearly clicked on the video knowing this, right? Well, how do you feel, my friend, that we got Mega Man 12 before GTA 6? Is everyone in this chat from India? Sorry, let me just put on the other hat because the sunlight's bothering me. There we go. More in line with everything. So anyways, what is your opinions on the 2025 Game Awards? How do you feel about Expedition 33 getting the award for Best Game of the Year? I want to hear your opinions. Why are you redacting all your messages? Anyways, let's just get to it. So, during the awards, I'm not going to talk. The categories were pretty basic. Donkey Kong Bonanza, despite being a single-player game, got Best Family title. Expedition 33 got Best Game of the Year. One of the actors from Ghost of Yotei got an award, even though I definitely disagree on the concept that they should. And like usual, the internet's discourse over it because, we can't have nice things. And also there's a little man who's very annoying called Hardman Smith. So, hello there. I might butcher your name if I say this in the chat. Ambriel Dabum Barama 4. Welcome to the chat. What is your opinion on the 2025 Game Awards, my friend? In my honest opinion, when I was sitting down watching it, I was hoping that we get something covering Kingdom Hearts 4. I know that sounds stupid, like, I genuinely just wanted something new. Like, some of the shooters might be good, but I just want an interesting game that's not super realistic, because it just feels like there's too much sameness with the games nowadays. It just feels with everyone going for realism, there's too much, I don't know, saturation of it. I'm from Florida. Pensacola. I live in Florida, Pensacola. I'm not. Okay, why are you guys asking this? Like, I'm asking you a relevant question. What is your opinion on the 2025 Game Awards and the fact that we're getting multiple games? Like, Xbox, PlayStation, we're getting Rebounded, we're getting a new Resident Evil game, we're getting a bunch of new stuff, and also some of the awards for games that definitely deserved it, regardless of what stupid people like Hardman Smith say. I think it went really well. I feel like the Game Awards are a bit of a scam, that Nintendo got an award that Sonic Racing Cross Worlds definitely should have got, because that game is way better, because Mario Kart World is more of a letdown than a deadbeat dad. Because unlike a deadbeat dad, Mario Kart World will lie to you about why it's falling short. In my honest opinions, I'm excited for the new games. The one thing that got me excited was Mega Man 12. Let me tell you, when I saw that symphony and that energetic scream, I took in it all. I took in the fact that after God knows how long, Mega Man's finally coming back to the mainstream, and that Capcom is finally deciding to make more games about him. Now, this may not seem important to someone like you who might be watching this video, but let me assure you it is to a lot of people, because Mega Man was kind of the backbone of competitive or tricky platforming. You see, back during the 90s, there were three different types of platformers. You got your Sonic with momentum and speed-based platform. You got Mario with more jumping around, parkour, and whips and wahoos. And Mega Man who had more tight, complex controls that evolved around exploration and combat. And different branches of Mega Man, like Mega Man X, expanded upon this idea, having ideas like dashing and wall jumping. So far, I'm genuinely excited. The newer game seems interesting, and my GOAT, the man himself, the man with the shades and the whistle, the red streak himself, Proto Man, is coming into the game, and I could not be more interested. Which means the game's either going to have multiplayer or some sort of character selection like Mega Man 10. And to be honest, I'm interested. The design looks a lot more well made and a lot less cheap compared to Mega Man 11. I actually did like the design. Me and my brother had a back and forth on whether or not Mega Man should have more human proportions versus cheaper proportions. But to be honest, I kind of like the newer design. Plus, Mega Man's having a whole new set of comic books called the Mega Man Timeline Run, which is basically going to be different one-shot stories of Mega Man from different branches. So X, Classic, Legends, and Zero. They did not have the money for Battle Networks or Star Force, sadly. I am annoyed by that, because Battle Networks is actually really cool. However, I am excited for the direction things are going, and I really like the concept of how it's going to be. Also, I finally finished that Kingdom Hearts video, so if you want to take a look at that, you can go down my channel and watch that. A Q&A. What is your favorite discovery? What is your favorite way to discover newer games? Maybe just like word of mouth or just looking them up or anything, or just talking to YouTubers or watching videos to recommend it. Most of the time, I just like watching or talking to a person who might recommend a game or recommend me trying a game. It's a valid question. It's a valid question. I really do appreciate that. People don't like that there's issues with bad writers. Now, I want to make one thing very clear when it comes to this topic, because I know a lot of people have a lot of things to say, and I'm just going to put my sense into the mix. It does not matter what your character looks like or what their preference is. What matters is that their whole personality, or are they in action? Or is there more to that? Because if you just write a character to be a certain way, I'm not going to say what because I know how easily offended people are, then you didn't write a character, you wrote a PSA or a mascot. You didn't create a character, you didn't make anything. You just created a self-insert. That's why no one likes Velma, that's why no one likes the live-action Disney movies, and that's why no one likes Ghost of Yotei, because people don't like that. But it's not saying you can't have a character be a certain way in terms of race or gender, because you can write a character and have it that way and still have it be good. It really just depends on the quality. If you write a character, don't think to yourself, what could he represent? Who is this character? What is their motivations? And what do you want out of them? And that is what Ghost of Yotei misunderstood. Heck, that's what most of Insomniac, Sony, Microsoft, and every other platformer except for Nintendo has missed. Oh, Nintendo! I haven't even bothered to talk about them yet. So, yeah, Nintendo barely sent anything. The only stuff they got was the awards for Mario Kart World and Donkey Kong Bonanza. And I'm just going to say Metroid Prime 4 does not deserve to be mentioned in any of those rewards. Look, the game has some good aspects. I definitely agree with that. But they look a little bit behind in terms of graphical fidelity. And also, no one likes that crappy James Gunn-esque NPC in the game. I legitimately wish there was a way you could just get rid of him. Hopefully the modders come up with something, but seriously, why did you let Halo devs work on a Metroid game? That's like trying to stick a round peg into a square hole. Sure, it'll fit and fall through, but it's just not right. My whole point is that the Game Awards announced some good things, some bad things, and some things definitely didn't deserve the respect and validation they got. That is my whole takeaway on the subject. Also, I do think it was kind of stupid that they shoved a Muppet in there for last minute. Like, why did you have this piggy over there? Like, seriously. It's weird. Also, you know Mario Kart World was bad when someone in the crowd literally tried to boo it. Like, there were people who booed its mention for being given the award, and then a bunch of random people in the back cheered. Harmon, get your people out of the award ceremony. Listen, I like Nintendo as much as the next guy, but when it does something scummy, I'm going to point it out. Call me a grifter, call me a liar, but the reality is, I'm just a fan who hates the direction his favorite franchise has gone. Also, Palworld is winning the lawsuit. Apparently, I may be late to this, but apparently Nintendo is getting another look into by the U.S. Patent Office and by various other people who might pull back those patents, which means Nintendo's going to win that lawsuit, and Palworld, since it's going to be updating itself next year to work out better, means they may or may not try to put back in those old mechanics they gutted out due to Nintendo's corporate meddling. Which means that Nintendo will not have a monopoly on the creature catching game. Now, nothing's set in stone yet, but it's possible. Nintendo is losing, and it's the first start in a long way for it. Nintendo is no longer untouchable, which means you need to strike while the iron is hot. Also, Sega's coming back with a bunch of newer games. We're getting a new Jet Radio, a new Golden Axe, a new Streets of Rage, a new Crazy Taxi. Like, it just feels like for every bullcrap decision Nintendo decides to make, some other company or indie dev decides to return it with something people actually want. I mean, Sega and Capcom are deciding to put all their games on sale. Something Nintendo isn't even trying to do. Also, I'm just gonna say, the Switch 2 is powerful, it's good and all, but, like, it feels super uncomfortable in my hands. Source? Source for what? The patent office, or you're asking for a source? Banjo Inc. 1 Inc. What is the source exactly? Because there were already posts about it on multiple occasions. Bruh, you actually brought up the Switch 2, lol. Yes, I brought it up. And if you're wondering about the source, well, you can actually look them up. There's been multiple sources on @Games, as well as on Reddit and everywhere else about the whole Power World lawsuit situation. And Nintendo is losing, which is a good sight to see. Yeah, like, I don't like it because when it came to the normal Joy-Cons, they felt curved and flat in a way that felt good in your hands. The other Joy-Cons just feel too dry and different shapes on my hands to make me feel uncomfortable. Also, like I said before in my Mario Kart World recordings, I recorded myself playing Mario Kart World, and I beat the game with ease without any effort whatsoever. Sonic Racing Crossworlds, on the other hand, you actually have to try hard to beat the game. Also, I'm excited for the new characters that are crossing over into the game. And I'm glad for what is to come later on. My honest opinion about the Game Awards is that on one side, things were very good, very interesting for the games that deserved the awards. Some of the nominations were unjustified, but hey, that's Nintendo paying some guy in the back to get their crap nominated because they still have a monopoly on most of the game journalist industry. But they broke easy. Oh! Are the new Joy-Cons any good? Okay, Banjo. Are the new Joy-Cons any good? That is a valid question. To be honest, yes and no. It's just probably a personal bias, but, like, they feel different in your hands. They do have a few things like a mouse ability that kind of brings back the old Wiimote aesthetic, and they are a lot larger to fit in your hands. But one issue I would say I don't like about them is that they didn't fix the drift. Like, the Joy-Cons will still drift, and even faster now because of the fact that they literally have magnets in them. When a guy broke down the entire controller, he explained that the magnets actually speed up the drifting process by messing with the sensory detector for the joystick. Also, there's a lot of other off-brand controllers that have connections to the Nintendo Switch 2 or special adapters made for it that allow you to connect off-brand controllers that work a lot better and do not have stick drift problems. In fact, newer creators have already figured out ways to create controllers that will never get stick drift. Also, who is really going to defend Metroid Prime 4 for literally making you charge $40 to buy an amiibo just so you can change the music? Like, amiibos used to be that special stuff, that extra game content. Oh, a Q&A sticker. What is your favorite gaming memory? Oh, where do I begin? It's a hard question because of all the games I've played, I haven't beaten all of them. I would have to say, let me think about that for a second. Beating all 6 Mega Man games when I got the collection. Like, beating Mega Man 3 was just so good. Like, walking off into the grass as you heard Proto Man's full theme play, that was a good memory right there. I'm still struggling to beat the other 9, 8, 10, and 11, and 6, and 7. No, sorry, not going to say that dumb joke. Seriously, whoever invented that joke really needs to get a life because it's just stupid. I have heard a hard time believing that. I have a hard time believing what? That I struggle to beat Mega Man 7, 8, and 9, 10. Yeah, it's hard, alright? Some of the bosses have issues. Alright? Also, the games were designed completely differently because, number one, this is when Capcom became multi-platform and didn't just stick with Nintendo, and two, another issue, yeah, I have a hard time beating Mega Man 8 because I beat all the Robot Masters, but when it comes to getting to the Wily Castle, I'm still stuck on the stupid snowboard section, the jump, or the slide crap. Another thing I do like about those collections is the gallery, because I look at that art and how it has this glistening oil clean look, and I go, mwah, masterpiece. Masterpiece right there. Which is why when I got to see Mega Man 12 or Mega Man Dual Overdrive for the Game Awards, I was ecstatic. I can't wait to see what the next game's going to look like, and I want to know what Proto Man is going to be like. Like, people are saying that the game's either going to have multiplayer or that we're going to be able to choose between Proto Man and Mega Man throughout the game. Also, people are making references saying that Mega Man's thing he did at the end credits is actually a reference to the Unicorn Gundam. The first collection is easy because of the rewind mechanic. Oh, that's why you think it's hard. Yeah. So, one time as a kid, I did rely on the rewind mechanic a lot, but my brother kept on scolding me for that, and basically I told him, okay, I'm gonna beat the game normally. So I did, and that's how I got through every game. It was tiring, it was annoying, but I did it. I did it, and I do not regret it. Let me tell you, the stupid thing about Mega Man 2 is that the bosses, like the stupid boss room with those little security things that shoot balls at you that can only be killed with Crash Bomb, that is the most poorly designed boss fight I have ever seen. It does not, that thing is like the main reason why I didn't beat the game in the beginning. Yeah, for real, it was annoying. Honestly, I like Proto Man more than Mega Man because of a constant trope that I keep on seeing when it comes to Japanese robots. Is that, like, they never question the proclaimed creator about the morals of what they believe robots should be. Like, they assume that their worldview is superior, and the robot never thinks to themselves, like, you want to create that kind of world, which I completely understand and consider a good idea, but have you considered the implications of the reality of the situation we're in? Like, honestly, Proto Man questions Dr. Light and knows he's not always right about everything. And that's what makes him such a compelling character, because he's the sign that Dr. Light is not always right. He's willing to help Mega Man and Light, but he rather let himself waylace to rest before he can be rebuilt. Also, I kind of think that it's a shame that we never got understanding of what happened to him in between Mega Man X and Mega Man Classic. Because if you haven't noticed, there's this new manga called Mr. Mega Man, which shows a much older version of Mega Man that basically has a normal job after Wily became so old he was unable to fight back. And basically most of the Robot Masters move on with normal lives, but because Wily isn't fighting them anymore, the demand for Robot Masters, or the existence of Robot Masters, is just being put out of business. Like, people have stopped building them, and they're all just trying to get lives and jobs and deal with everything. And Mega Man's main journey is a slice of life as he goes on and runs into all the old foes he used to fight. Like, some of the characters are on good par. And I'm not going to spoil the rest of the manga because it's not out yet, but also because I just think it's really cool. When it comes to Mega Man, I think that Secret Level episode was specifically made to sabotage him because did anyone else notice that episode poorly reiterated the character's origins or the characterization of what people mainly know and ruined Mega Man's design? Not only that, but that short was only a minute long, where every other short on the Secret Level show was 15 minutes long. Not to mention, Mega Man's voice or scenes by Dr. Light were used heavily in the marketing, even when the trailer didn't show Mega Man at all. Like, Mega Man was the most hyped part of the entire show. And what happened was just a straight-up disappointment. I think it's in part to Capcom's meddling and how they basically didn't want to deal with Mega Man in the beginning. So that's probably why. And when it comes to Mega Man, this is where I gotta talk about being in a bad place. Because there was one YouTuber I used to look up to who did a lot of cool Mega Man work, and he had his own inner circle of friends who were also YouTubers, similar to how I have now, but he's basically lost himself. If you don't know who I'm talking about, his name was Reploid Revo. Now, any Mega Man fan who's watching this probably knows who that is, but if you don't, he was an old YouTuber who would analyze characters or story aspects of the Mega Man series and break it down piece by piece. Basically a video essay creator like MadPat or Ace Card Gaming's with the Sonic series. He was well known for it, and he inspired me to do a lot of good with my series. However, his career cut short after a Discord screenshots, a bunch of stuff on Twitter, and basically people found out he may or may not be a PDF file. After that, his YouTube account was terminated and his entire career went up in flames. Which, it just kind of hurts. And at first I was in denial about it. Like, I kept on trying to think he has a reason to, or he's being framed because the people had access to his account. They could do anything they wanted to. However, I actually looked the posts by him, looked at a interview that was recorded, and I was quickly proven wrong. So I decided to do better than him. I decided not to fall into that same pitfall that he did, and that I would never, under any circumstances, do anything so degenerate and disgusting. So far, I think the Game Awards were pretty good. I think some of the games that got announced were interesting. I think Nintendo shouldn't have gotten as many awards that it should have. And I think Ghost of Yotei is a piece of trash. But overall, I think it did pretty good. I hope all of you enjoyed the video. I'm Player Negative, and I'll see you later.